Michaels is on.
Welcome to the 101, brought to you by Whiteside Chrysler Dodge Jeep. I'm Michael Morris. Sitting to my right, my buddy, Dr. Ryan Brown. Doc, how are you?
I'm absolutely fantastic.
You had a long day, because I know that this is the day that you golf at, what time is that?
We got it in before the rain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You like to go out and golf, and that's your networking, instead of going to the networking things I go to on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
But listen, I went for you, and I think the group's already changed names, so don't worry about it. I'll keep catching you up on it.
Yeah, fill me in.
I brought us another networking expert.
Let me guess, is she from the BNI?
No.
Or-
First of all, you can't even call it BNI. We changed names now to AM Spirit or something.
What is it now?
We haven't figured it out yet. We're in the process of going from one to another, but if our good buddy Wayne out there from BNI is listening, we're leaving. So, that being said, I brought somebody who is an expert at social media, networking, and is, let me put it this way, 10 times friendlier than me. Jackie Murphy. Jackie, how are you?
I am fabulous. How are you?
Don't get personal. The reason we have Jackie, we met Jackie kind of like by random accident, right? Because we met
through Instagram.
That's how I meet all my good friends now, through Instagram. But we met through Instagram. I'm not actually sure how it worked. And you said, would we have Taylor Colin on?
Yes.
And we did. And
Yes.
we love that guy. Give him a shout out.
Yeah, Taylor Colin, Pure Equity Group. Woo!
Yeah. Fantastic guy. And Ryan, I think we had him on this show.
This show, yeah, you on.
And then Jackie was in the background for the longest time. And then she's like, hey, I'd like to come on, and then didn't want to come on today.
Yeah.
Because she was nervous about it. So
We almost put Megan Trainor in her place.
Yeah, we do have this huge stand-up in the studio of Megan Trainor that looks nothing like her from, let's say, the shoulders down.
If you didn't show up, we were just going to put her.
Yeah, we
well,
would
I
just
could just
talk to
stand
her.
behind her and talk, you know, and then you just look at Megan.
Same thing. We've had guests like that before. Give us a little background on who you are.
Okay, well, graphic designer by trade, I guess. Had my own business for a long time designing paper goods, and while I was doing that and raising kids and figuring out how to run my own business, I didn't even realize I was building up my network and relationships and how one thing leads to another. And you know, I'm basically a contractor, freelancer, helping other people kind of grow and get better. And
So you're helping other people become successful through what you do.
Yep.
Nothing wrong with that.
I like how you said you kind of like, let's just say, stumbled into this. Like you didn't realize you were building a network. But yet, if you look at any of your social media, you're constantly networking with somebody.
Yes.
And this show is all about telling people, like, I'm the anti-networking guy. I'm in one networking group, and I love those people. But they're like, you should go to this other one. I'm like, nah, I'm not going.
Yeah.
I'm just going to do this because it's at IHOP.
Yeah.
But you're constantly involved with other people. And I don't even know how you're branching out. Like, explain how you first started to network this, because you can have an idea and a concept, but you've got to get somebody to buy in.
Right.
So how did you start that process?
Well, I didn't even know what networking was until a few years ago. And I think I had this opportunity. I took a traditional job, 9 to 5, and I did that for a year. And it was during that time I found I wanted to do more formal networking. So I did join an AM Spirit group. And
Did you like it?
I liked it at first. And
Well, that's okay, because like I said, we're just starting it. We're ready to quit that in about a month or two. But for now, we're going to do AM Spirit in Grove City.
Yeah. No,
Wait, hold on.
No, Ryan, you're golfing. You won't come to the meetings.
But wait, what's AM Spirit? I've been so excited about this BNI thing I'm going to get into one of these days.
Imagine BNI is, or AM Spirit is BNI without all the rules? I don't know. We're just finding out about it.
So
we're going to touch on that in a minute.
It's the same group, but you're just
Same
changing
people, yeah.
So it's like the Browns went to Baltimore.
Yes.
But they just
we're
stayed in Grove
essentially the
City.
Ravens now.
Yes.
But we have all the same players.
All right, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
But so you said you were in AM Spirit.
Yes, I did try it out, and what I liked about it was its structure. This was like a whole new thing for me, because like I said, I never, I just ran my own business, met with people, helped out friends, didn't do anything formal, didn't know, I didn't have an elevator pitch, didn't have my 30-second commercial like they teach you to do in AM Spirit. So I liked the structure and knowing, just having to introduce myself every week and having different rules, I guess you could say. So it introduced me to kind of a different world and a way of networking. And I think that really did help in the very beginning. What I quickly realized is I liked more of the social aspect of it.
No,
and just
you're kidding
seeing.
me. After being around you, I can't imagine you like to hang out and talk to people.
I think especially after working at home for 10 years by myself, that was before co-working spaces existed, really, and, you know, raising kids, trying to make some money at the same time, you know, follow my passion and have a creative outlet. You know, I did embrace the whole networking world and AM spirit, and I think after about a year or so, I realized that I guess I felt like I didn't need it. There's actually quite a few people in my AM Spirit group who are no longer in it that I still keep in touch with. And actually, one of them is one of my clients now.
But isn't that
too.
the point?
Oh, that is the point. Making connections and that, you know, that last. It's not just a one and done.
Right. How did you get into that? Because again, you are great at networking yourself now, but you had to learn it from somewhere. I mean, was it somebody? I'll tell you exactly how I got stuck in it, and Ryan got out of it because he has a commitment early in the morning on Wednesdays. But my friend Michael Cheney was doing this show, and we're on Facebook Live when we're doing it, and she says to me, "You're gonna come, right, on Wednesday?" And I don't even know what she's talking about.
Yeah.
So I'm like, "Of course I'm gonna come." So I can't lie and then come back the next week,
Right.
or like if she was on a different show, I couldn't say, "Oh, I'll stop by," because eventually get caught. So I went, and I thought, this is the driest thing I've ever been involved with, because everybody was so nervous to talk. And I feel like when you're sitting down, you're that elevator pitch thing, everyone's afraid that someone's going to, "Oh, that's boring, I don't care."
Judge them.
Yeah. Oh, I was totally judging everyone.
Yeah.
But I thought what was cool is you have all these different walks of life, but I feel like you start kind of like ruling them out. So you're like, "Oh, you provide cellular tower service. That does me no good." You know, so you start weeding that out. But you do start to get drawn to people that are like-minded.
Right.
And it's who they know, right?
Right. Well, you're drawn to their personality, their energy. I think that's what draws me, someone's energy. I'm trying to think, I don't know where I met Trey to begin with, but Trey, this guy named Trey is the one who invited me to, they did a lunchtime, oh gosh, it's at a place that doesn't even exist on Bethel Road anymore. And
Cahoots?
No, not Cahoots.
Oh.
It's like a Wings and Rings or something. And
Close enough.
I did not
Same style of food.
I didn't ask any questions. I didn't even realize what I was getting into. And then when it was very formal and, you know, they're passing around these little slips of paper for you to fill out your connections and introductions you're making. And it was, like I said, I was like, wow, what is this? I have no idea what it is. And so I went to a few of them and I liked it, and I ended up joining a different group. But yeah, I had no idea what I was getting into.
And just to be clear, for those of millions of people that are listening to the show right now,
Probably billions, but
that haven't been listening the past couple weeks. I mean, we're talking about, when we talk about networking and AM Spirit and BNI, we're talking about entrepreneurship and business networking. When you go to a group setting and you network with other people and try to learn about what they do, they learn about what you do.
Correct.
And that's basically what we're talking about, right?
Well,
Yes.
I think, and again, I'm glad you pointed that out, because we should say the point of this is not so much go join a group, but Ryan and I, we run into people in our trade, and then we're getting a lot of word of mouth type of relationship building, but that's not enough. What I think is cool is that Jackie, literally her entire thing is networking. Like, to grow her business, she has to network. She can't just sit still, because no one's going to go, "You know who's great at graphic arts? Call this lady that's over in Worthington." You know, she has to be
you gotta market yourself.
I want to ask you, not about the group part, but was there a part where you were worried, like, I'm not going to bring in enough business? Like, is that why you started to reach out? Or you just were tired of your children and wanted to leave the house?
You know what? I got burnt out. Of what I was doing. No,
Oh.
not the kids. No, what I was doing from home, I got burnt out. I really wanted interaction with other people, and I wanted a challenge. So I actually put my paper business kind of on the back burner. I honestly thought I would return to it. I just started freelancing for an ad agency. And that's where I learned a lot more about marketing and campaigns, and I was already doing a lot myself, but pretty much everything that I'm doing is just through experience and self-taught and just from learning from other people. So it's, like if you had asked me 5 years ago that I'd be doing what I'm doing now, I never would have guessed that. So
But this is what you wanted to do.
Oh, I love it. I really like what I'm doing. I love being a resource for people more than anything. I think when I'm out networking, and that gets such a bad connotation too. People are like, oh, networking, it's I
think people think you're going to sell them some kind of salad bowl or something. If you get your friends also to buy this, it's free.
Right. It's I don't like. I have been to some more formal networking events and lunches and things where to me it doesn't seem very authentic, and I just have shied away from those. Then I just know, okay, that's not for me. Maybe for other people, but I don't want to be speed dating or speed networking and just giving out my cards and things. So I just I found that I just find the opportunities where I think I'm going to meet some cool people that I can learn from, and then also I've started like my own sort of networking happy hour. I tried to do it quarterly, so I need to plan a summer one. But it's basically taking all the friends that I know. I'm like, okay, usually networking, meeting people, but I'd like to introduce my friend here who might benefit from my other friend. So it's I've kind of gathered my own little group that I like to bring together and see connections made and be a resource, I guess.
Ryan, when we
I get a lot of satisfaction from that.
Well, I've actually seen it in person, like how giddy you get when you put people together. I wish I could get that excited about anything, but you are that excited when you're making those connections. Mm-hmm. Ryan and I wanted him to go back to, there was a week where our guests didn't show up, so we did the show by ourselves.
Yeah.
And I was so irritated by the networking and what I want to say, those entrepreneurs, the internet entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. And so I was just going off on it, and he was just listening to me do the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I just thought, like, his experience has been so much different, because my thing is typically when I'm going somewhere,
I think everything annoys you, first of all.
So everything but this show annoys me. Even the other shows that I do annoy me. But when I am with these people, it seems to be like they want me to answer a question. And it's okay. That's why I'm there. I want to be a resource. But it becomes one of those things like they're not writing it down. So it's kind of like, can you answer this problem for me? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can. Are you going to write this down because it's a little more complex? You can't walk away with it. Whereas when Ryan goes, he's literally, because of his personality, he's building bridges with other people.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm over here trying to set them on fire. But his opinion of networking is so much different than mine. I'm kind of coming around the way he thinks. But Ryan, can you kind of give your opinion on how you've dealt with networking? Because that putting your card in a fishbowl thing, that doesn't work anymore, right?
Well, I think, first of all, if you're going to be a business owner or an entrepreneur or a salesperson, which salespeople are pretty much entrepreneurs, it's you incorporated. Even if you work for a big company, when you're in sales, it's a commission gig, and you got to go out there and you got to hustle and you got to get clients and you got to make sales. So you have to network, and you have to find leads, and you got to find people that you can put yourself in front of that can say yes to whatever your product or project is, etc. And I found that a lot of people who do not like, you mentioned something, Jackie, the social aspect. If you're not social, if you don't enjoy communication with another person, probably not going to make it in sales, probably not going to make it as an entrepreneur or in the business world in general. I have a cousin of mine who's like my big brother growing up, and he was an amazing athlete and just somebody I really looked up to. And he now runs a business. However, he is in a trade, the tile business, and he likes to lay tile, and he's really darn good at it. But we had this conversation years ago at Thanksgiving, and he goes, how do you handle your customers? And I go, well, what do you mean? He goes, I just want to punch him in the face. And I just started laughing.
I feel like I would get along with him. I feel like the same thing, and I'm not laying tile. I want to punch them all in the face.
He would be so annoyed with a networking, situation. He's not even, I don't even think he has a Facebook or a social media account. But he deals with a lot of commercial business. He goes in and says, as a matter of fact, here's the price. There's no negotiations. It's he tiled all the Lifetime Fitnesses around Columbus when they were built, and in those big locker rooms that are really sharp. And but he likes to put his headphones on and grind it out and work, and no one talk to him, leave me alone. He's not social, but he's got people in those social positions that can sell the business and communicate and do that stuff. It's just not who he is, and there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
But you have to be that. You have to be self-aware. And so for me, I enjoy, Instagram and Facebook and communicating and socializing and all those type of things. because I find ways that I can service and be benefit to others through those outlets. So I would love a network marketing meeting such as AM Spirit or BNI or whatever you guys want to call it this week.
Get back to me next week. I'll let you know.
Yeah, but I would love it. Even if there's 2 people or 20 people, I'd love to meet every single person. That person who has a radio antenna tower business, even though he probably couldn't help me any, I'm sure he knows somebody who could, and I'm sure I could have a great conversation with him, and maybe I could help him. And so I really enjoy it, but I'm a social butterfly, as they will, and as you will say. Is that what you say? As you will. As you will.
As you will. That sounds good. As you will.
Works.
But you know what I mean? Like, I just enjoy the social aspect, and so networking to me comes very natural, comes very easy. And so I think what I would say to people out there starting a business or wanting to be an entrepreneur or somebody that's in sales, if you're not good at communicating, there's books and audios and YouTube videos and coaches that can help you become better at it. If you find you don't like it, my advice is don't ever do anything you don't really like.
Right.
Along those lines, when I think about the networking thing, the reason I wouldn't do it again was because I was always, the whole reason we do the show, we're letting people come, just so everyone knows, everyone that comes here is voluntary and it's free. Like, we just want to hear their story. What would bother me is when somebody would almost kind of put their hand in your pocket, like, hey, I've got the thing for you. You need this. And it's like, man, I don't even know your name. Like, everyone's trying to sell you in the room. That was what my impression of networking was, because every time I went, it felt like somebody wanted something from me. But until Ryan was telling me the way he looks at it, like, I'm trying to be more open to it. So I love the group that I'm in. And every week, Bob Hayes, who we've had on the show, will say, Michael, did you visit this group? Nope. I'm not going. I only want to be with my Grove City people, So even though there's probably a seat at the table and I could go do, I'm only comfortable with what I'm comfortable with, and I want to do it.
Well, and I think too, there's a lot of people that have experiences where they'll go to a social networking group type experience, and they may have a bad experience, and that may put a bad taste in their mouth. They may have met one person that just wasn't friendly or tried to take advantage of them in some way that just made them feel uncomfortable. And so that may put that bad taste, just like somebody who played a sport and had a terrible coach and then they quit the sport, even though they may have been really good at it. And so I've been to a lot of those, the people trying to sell you this magical towel that, if you get 3 people to do it, your towel's free. And I get how those work, and I think it can be successful for those people who do that if they really work the business. But I've been turned off by a lot of those because it's not really how can we help each other, it's how can I make money off of you, and that does push you away. It's just like the salesman, which what I call in the sales world commission breath. They're trying to sell you something so bad that they don't take no for an answer, first of all, and they just they can really be in your face too much.
Yeah.
Well, Jackie, let me ask you, because you go to a lot of these events, how many, what's a term we can use? Kind of newbies,
A rookie.
the first timers, the rookies who they have their own business, they just started, because those are my favorite people when they come to our meetings, because I don't look at it like we're in a meeting. I look at it like we're all just hanging out having coffee, and when they're new, like, you want to make them feel like they belong.
Right.
But you can see that trepidation of like opening up and being part of a group, and it normally takes a few weeks. But you won't see the same faces. You'll see somebody come once or twice. They'll never open up. They never say more than what they do. And, it wasn't for me. How would you encourage somebody who's new in the business world or their own business to stick with it or to even go?
Well, I would say, bringing a friend is always a
You brought
a
a friend
thing.
Today, by the way.
I did bring a friend for
Will
moral
be a
support
future
today.
guest. Yeah, she's gonna be a future guest, and we thought, we double booked this show. But go ahead, bring a friend.
I say bring a friend, and also, not just starting your own business, but a lot of people like graduating from college and they're starting with their careers. I encourage a lot of younger people that I meet and connect with to go to networking events. Look on Meetup. Meetup Columbus, look at CYP, Columbus Young Professionals. It doesn't even have to be something very formal. There's a lot of happy hours that are, just start small. You have nothing to lose. And if you are a person that is networking at those events and you see someone kind of in the corner or they're not talking to anybody, just go up and say hi to them. Sometimes it just, they need to feel welcome. But as far as, going yourself, I'd say bring a friend. trying to reach out to maybe some of the other members or the organizer ahead of time, just ask questions so you know what expectations are. I think that's, a big thing about what Ryan said, not having a good experience. I think some people just have unrealistic expectations out of, networking. They think that I'm going to make all these connections, I'm going to get all these business cards, and I'm going to make the sale and everything. And it's just like, it's all a process. It's all, you got to date before you get married. You just
Maybe
have.
you do, but
yeah.
sure.
Well, Michael's favorite networking is Tinder, so
Yeah.
makes sense. But I think to kind of sum up the networking part of this, if you can go into social media, if you can go into business, if you can go into sales, if you can go into entrepreneurship, if you can go to any of these networking groups and meetings with the attitude and the mindset that Zig Ziglar quoted and coined the phrase that if you can just help enough other people get what they want, you will always have what you want.
Right.
And I hold that quote very close to my mental aspect of life because it's just a good philosophy to have, and I think it's part of the whole law of reciprocation. What you put out there comes right
That's a
back.
great
Exactly.
point. Because
No,
that's part of those groups is everybody wants to get something out of it, but if they went and they wanted to give something back to it, you always get more than you put out. But especially when you're a small business, I've yet to hear somebody say in any of these networking things, I want to give this to someone else. Because you have to have that mindset, right? You're going anticipating I'm going to make some revenue off this, or I'm going to do a trade or whatever. But I think that's a solid point. No one's going in there and going, guess what I did for you today? The referral, my favorite thing was when I was in radio, like not doing this, but actually selling in radio. When you got a lead from somebody, it was because 10 other people had touched it. Like this thing was dead.
Right.
But if you went to one of these networking groups and you just had one lead, I don't care if it's somebody just opened a flower shop and someone that does insurance, and you just open that door, they may never do business, but you provided a value. There was a purpose to network in that event. Let's do this. I want to take an early break because I want to give Jackie plenty of time. But we're going to go to break, and we're going to come back because I'm going to ask you something specific, and I want you to explain how this works in networking in your business. You're listening to the 101, brought to you by Whiteside Chrysler Dodge Jeep, and we will be right back. So I'm going to get into...
We got about 29 more minutes, so plenty of time.
I just literally was like...
Oh, wow, this is the hour show?
Yeah. I didn't want to start the next thing.
It's like about 52 minutes, 53 minutes. We have 7 or 8 minutes worth of commercials. Is it Jackie? Okay, good. I did spell it right. I wrote down Jackie Murphy, Murphy.
Yes.
It never
Okay,
stays
good.
in there.
I did spell it right.
Okay, so what are you going to ask
So what
me?
I want to do is I want you to explain how your business works. Okay.
It's a hard thing.
That's okay. There's nobody else doing exactly what you're doing. Like a lot of people say they're doing. No, they're not.
It did
Thing
fall
is,
down.
like, I'm not
Yeah, that's
really
what she
doing
said.
this to get.
Always. It's
clients.
that
But I-
tripod. When I bring my own tripod, it doesn't
That's
fall.
not
But
what I want
I
someone to
picked
do
it
is
up
they're
and just
listening.
leaned it
It's
up
my
against
public
here,
service
and just
announcement.
it's fine now.
But you can
So
say that.
Yeah.
You can say,
I'm kind of when
here
I'm
to
sitting
get
here, I'm
business,
out of the
but I want
picture, and the
you to
3 of them are
see
in,
my
which is all that matters.
And is waiting on permission. I don't want them to wait
People
on
have seen the
permission.
back of my head enough on these
The
shows.
reason that I'm doing what I'm doing now is because 15 years ago somebody said something to me at a lunch that I had just taken this job, and we're only together 10 minutes in because why are you doing what you're doing? And I thought he meant like why am I in radio, and I'm like because they hired me. And he said no, you should be doing this on your own because I was only 27 at the time. And I was like I don't even know how to do that. And he goes you don't have to just do it. And it took me 6.5 years to do it. Right? There's somebody out there that's going to hear this that's waiting on someone to tell them it's okay to do this. Because there is no real hard set rule on what you do.
No,
Same with him.
I just make it up.
Right, but that's the point is someone needs to realize you don't have to play by anybody else's
Right.
rules to have your own business. All right, Jim.
And why am I on radio? Because I came with the building, right?
Yeah. Jim was attached to the foundation.
That's why I called it freedom.
Like a rock monster.
Jim, you've got that perfect like radio. voice.
Over 35 years. Well, I've worked on that.
Yeah.
If you heard me back in 1984 doing my first shift, I sounded terrible. But I got nice advice from good people like Bob Nunnally, for example,
And he said, don't go into
who
television.
now works at Channel 4. No, he said, get into television. It makes more money. That's why he likes TV. It's more money. He has more
Dang
fun.
it, we're in the wrong business.
Well, I think he was
Wait
burned out
wait
on
until we
radio.
start our
so.
TV show. It'll be terrible, but we'll make a lot more money.
He enjoys
We'll
the
just
heck out of
make it
being a
up.
weatherman.
You could be my Kathy Lee, and I'll be your Hoda.
Oh gosh.
And you drink wine until
Yeah.
Glasses.
I just want to be referred to as Hoda.
Hoda.
All
We
right,
ready?
You guys ready? Oh,
Yes.
sorry, Jimmy. Go ahead.
3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to the 101, brought to you by Whiteside Chrysler Dodge Jeep. Still sitting with our good friend Jackie Murphy from Queen Bee Creative, who wants to give her little PSA. You're here, but you don't want business out of this. So please, no one call her for any work this
Do not
week or
call me.
ever.
Do not call me.
I want to point out that I'm not kidding, that you said that off the mic, that you're not here to promote to get more clients. You're just here to help us kind of share the
Right.
story and educate.
But wait, hold on. What is your business again? Like, what would you say
So-
your main?
Ryan, if you do
Yeah.
that, people are going to want what she has.
Well,
We're trying to stop people from
Just
calling.
don't
her.
answer the phone.
I know. You know what? It shouldn't be such a hard question, and you'd think because I'm in marketing that I'd have this down pat. But basically, I provide creative services for businesses. So, and creative services can include anything from graphic design, sales support, social media strategy, event planning, and basically strategy around relationships and nurturing your current client relationships.
But it's also cultivating a brand, right?
It
From
is.
the copy that goes in brochures to radio commercials, whatever it
Yes.
might be, that's what you do. But please don't call this woman. She does not want you to do that. But I think what's important about what you do is that there are features of what you're doing that we do,
Mhm.
right?
Yes.
But you're being your own boss. You can kind of set the parameters of where you want to go and what you want to do. And the reason I thought it was important is that you need to let people know if they want to do something on their own. Like Ryan worked in the corporate world.
Mm-hmm.
I worked in the corporate world, and we had just had enough. Once you go on the outside, you're kind of institutionalized, so you feel like I got to be there from 8 to 5, and I've
Right.
got to go to lunch at noon, and that. But there are no rules.
Make it up as I go along. I've been in those traditional positions, and it's just not me. I felt boxed in. Like I couldn't, be the resource that I wanted to be. I couldn't, I don't know, just got caught up in other things that I was losing focus of, what am I here to do? I want to provide value to people, to clients, to, and a lot of that is, like I've connected you with people for your show, for instance, just because I'm like,
Yeah, we're not happy about it. But thank you.
but I realize like I say the same thing to everybody I talk to, whether I'm working with them or not. They're friends with businesses that are just starting out. And, so my public service announcement has to do with just, nurturing those relationships. Like when you meet somebody that's new, you have to do the follow-up. You have to, I obviously like social media, but it's building that relationship. You can only see people so many times, have so many coffee appointments, have so many happy hours. So I use social media to help support, just kind of what my brand is and what, the, relationship goals. So just trying to teach people, which I feel like it's probably innate in people. They've just kind of forgotten. It's all about saying please, thank you when someone sends you an email, responding and not not thinking that you ghosted them.
So
it's
don't burn bridges like Michael does.
I
not burning
do
bridges.
that all the time.
Just adding value, I guess. So yes, I make my own rules. Companies approach me to help them in certain ways. And I think a lot of it has to do with maybe the energy I give, or it's just I'm a nice person maybe. So they're like, okay, I know you can help me. How can you help me? So we kind of like come up with a plan, and a lot of it has to do with, when it comes down to it, they might come to me for social media strategy or help, but really it comes down to, okay, how are you communicating with your potential clients, your current clients, and all of that other stuff is actually to support it. The email marketing is to support it, the social media. So at the heart of it is really, how do you communicate? Do you have a long list of 40 people that you still need to get back to? Are you sending out thank you cards? Are you taking the time to call somebody instead of texting? Just things like that I think, we get so busy we kind of forget about. So I don't know, kind of a relationship coach in a way.
You're the great reminder.
The great reminder, yes.
I always tell
yes.
people, I'm not going to teach you anything. I'm going to remind you of everything
Yes.
you already know.
Let me
What
ask
you
you, because you're so well versed in social media, do you find it hard to separate yourself from, there are good firms out there, and then there are just people that don't know what the hell they're doing, right? So I saw an
Yes.
example of this the other day.
Uh-huh.
So I see a proposal from somebody that their recommendation was buying Google AdWords. Number one, this is not in 2005. Number two, doing a Facebook post, rotating one piece of content over 3 months and changing.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a lot of to be determined because they didn't know the price of these things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're the social media experts. So just happened to look on their Instagram. They have 0 posts and 59 followers, but they're telling you that
Oh,
you
wow.
need to spend $3,000 to $5,000 a month on this. There are a lot of bad firms. How do you set yourself apart?
Oh gosh.
I always like it when I get invited to the cattle call,
Mm-hmm.
because you go ahead and do whatever you're going to do, because you're going to wow them with all your presentation materials and all that stuff, and you're going to kiss their rear end. We're going to take the exact opposite approach. It's about 3 pieces of paper. Everyone gets one. I'm going to tell you exactly how this works. If you like us as people and want to do something, Ryan, is this not true? How many times have you seen it where somebody's like, I just don't like the way that you talk? Fantastic. You're not for us.
Right.
But we're presenting ourselves like that we're going to kick ass for you, but we're not going to be nice about it. Like, it's to grow your business. Other people want to get the business so badly, they don't care if they can really pull it off. So in the social media world, there's a lot of people that say they can do things that they can't. How
Right.
do you combat that and stand out?
Well, I'd say, first of all, I wouldn't consider myself a social media
Well,
expert.
Ryan said that.
But okay. I mean, just lots of experience. A lot of the times I go with my gut, like what feels as authentic or organic as possible. And whatever I don't know, I Google, I ask friends and
You ask
contacts
your
that I do.
network?
I ask my network. I'm not an expert when it comes to Facebook ads and marketing, and I've just like a lot of other people have done. You get those pop-ups from Facebook about talking to our marketing expert. I've done that countless times. I go to as many free and inexpensive lunch and learns and meetups as I can to learn about social media, and I'm just always absorbing, learning, seeing what other people are doing, kind of researching. But I think it's just about practicing what you preach, and I don't think I'm preaching things. I think I'm just kind of showing that I am connecting people, I am promoting businesses. I know I have a lot of my friends will comment on my Instagram feed or something, and they don't know who I'm working with as a client or who I'm just like, man, I just really like that business, and
Well,
I'm
those are
giving
the
them a
best
shout
ones.
out. Yeah,
Those are
that's
the ones I
so
think are
I
the
just
best.
and I want there to be mystery about it, like, because it really doesn't matter. A lot of the businesses, and I love food, I love the cocktails, and so I'm always going places, and I just like to. It's like give them a little boost or pick me up. Maybe 5 people see it, because what I've learned too is the likes and those are just numbers, because sometimes those are really empty. I've recently had a post for one of my clients, and I was able to tag a pretty well-known band here in town that had a pop-up shop, and they did all the graphics for the pop-up shop in the Short North, and I mean it just blew up. The post on Instagram blew up, But then when I'm looking at the followers and the numbers, I'm like, well, those aren't even our clients. That's not even, to me that's empty. Didn't really mean anything, and I think that's what people get caught up in that. So it's just the engagement too, I think, is what I remind a lot of people about. That's where you're going to get those connections. It's not just liking something, but it's the commenting, it's the sending a message. When you see something that's cool, that impacts you, then that's how you start to form those relationships, online, that you hope lead to something in person.
Well,
in real life.
I posted something that Ryan had. I just reposted it for him for Freedom Windows, and what I thought was really cool about it is, you know, you're waiting for those likes, especially on Instagram, and they're like 10 or 11. But over the next 8 hours, when you look at, and I don't know what this is called, like views, I think is what it's called at the top. 180 people had viewed it. They just don't want to like it.
Right.
And I think Ryan should take that personally. But however, I look at it and say, that is achieving a whole nother audience, right? Because we didn't charge him for it. We just did it because Ryan's our friend and all that. But when we're posting, you never know who's going to see this stuff.
No, you really don't.
That's why this is still kind of the Wild West, because we can't meter how this actually gets a return on investment.
You cannot.
But you still have to do it, right?
You still have to do it. But like I said before, it's to support other things that you already have in place. So, a lot of people are just, they'll focus on the social media, like, oh, we've got to have it, and just like, okay, but it's to support, once someone contacts you, or DMs you on Instagram, for instance, like, do you have a system for, keeping in touch with them? Are you going to actually reach out to them? Are you going to go to coffee? Are you going to ask them, how you can be of help to them? It's, it might be that it's the gateway, but then you have to back it up with, whatever value you want to provide. So it's, I don't know, it's such an interesting world, social media. I enjoy it. I love it.
It's still not to the point where you're seeing this huge breakout of success for you see the big brands that have big dollars that are throwing towards it.
Oh, sure.
But of course you're going to get results because you can also buy followers, you can buy likes and all that.
Right.
But it's the organic stuff. Like when Ryan's doing something and he posts it, it's the people it's the comments that he's getting.
Yes.
That's what I pay more attention to.
Yes,
is
the comments. Yes.
'Cause
Comments and
liking it
who's
means
sharing
nothing.
it.
Correct.
Well, I think what we have to pay attention to is what's your business. And like, for instance, one of my businesses is a window company. I'm not trying to get a lot of business through social media.
No.
But what I do like to see, if I post something on my little Instagram that I have just so I have it for my window company, I may get, like you said, 3 likes, 4 likes on something, and those are just probably my mom, my little brother, Michael, and Rachel.
Right.
But I do know,
bro.
but I do know that people see it, and so they're seeing the logo, they're seeing the brand, it's imprinted in their mind. Now, when I do life coaching and when I do different things like that, the business success stuff, that is something where I can captivate an audience. That is something where I can pull people in. So if you know what your business is or your trade or your audience, you can manipulate social media for what you want. I, for one, am not really going to get any business through social media. I mean, I might, as far as the window business, maybe somebody, I've had somebody reach out to me actually a couple weeks ago that their aunt was looking for windows and to reach out to them. And
she lived in Russia. Could you follow up on this email?
Right. So you may get something here and there, but that's not my niche market. Most of the people that follow me aren't even really from Columbus. I mean, I have a big following, but it's nationwide, worldwide, whatever. Yeah, Mr. Worldwide.
I was just going to say that. I was going to look at Mr. Worldwide.
That's not what I meant. But you have to know your niche. And I think, Michael, you were talking about something earlier about how do you compete with the people, like you were saying in her business, where they're being creative and they're saying to do this and that, but yet they're not doing it. I think there's a big issue with people over-promising and under-delivering. And so if you're listening to this and you're in sales and you're trying to say whatever you can to make a sale, that's not going to sustain you as a salesperson. No. It's not going to sustain your company or business, because eventually it'll catch up with you. It may earn your business today, but that stuff catches up to you, because when you can't deliver with all this pretty picture that you painted for the customer, and you can't deliver, well, guess what? That customer is going to tell somebody else. Don't hire them. Even if they didn't tell you, they're going to network in the negative way. They're going to say, oh, yeah, I did use somebody for this project, and you know what? It was okay, but they told me they were going to do X, Y, and Z, and they didn't do it.
Didn't follow through.
Because either they couldn't do it or they didn't know how to do it, but they said it so that they could earn the business. Right. And, how cool would it be as a salesperson, entrepreneur, business owner, if you could actually go into someone's home or go into someone's business and say, I'm going to do this and this and this, but then you deliver so much more. Then now you're leaving them with, wow, they actually went above and beyond and did all this other stuff that I don't think I paid for, that I didn't even ask for. That's what you want to leave, your customer with, that signature, if you will, of who you are and what you stand for, versus telling them the world and not being able to deliver.
Right. Well, I was wondering about, you said something about that you don't get a lot. Social media is not really there to sell your business. It is there to complement.
Just support your brand.
Right. It is. It is showing a little bit of behind the scenes, or this is what we're doing. So, the way I always describe it is, social media is, if I owned a business, that building can move. It's the people inside the business, not the brick and mortar. And whenever I say that to people, they say, "Well, what is it like? That doesn't mean anything." We had somebody, Mina, if you're out there listening, probably not. When she came to us, she had something that I was like, this is a product like no one's ever advertised this. I have no idea. It's not an actual physical product. It's like a medical product. But you have to be a physician to use it. And I'm like, what are we going to do with this? She got a phone call because somebody saw her recording a radio commercial in a booth, and like her react, like she had stumbled over a word and started laughing. All we did was share that, and she shared it.
Right.
So she got a phone call from it because she stood out from the crowd. That's an example of something. Now, whether she gets business off that or not, at least it got some attention. Where I think it goes wrong is the people that want to be Instagram famous. We had one of those as well. Somebody that, there was a doctor in California that did, I don't know this song, I'm sure that Ryan knows it. Remember that whole craze where people were climbing out of their car and dancing and doing this whole thing?
Oh,
I've seen it on
Whatever
social
it was.
media. I don't know what it is either.
So some doctor did that.
Was that the Hokey Pokey? Was it that one?
It was that one.
That one. Jim says no.
If it was by Drake, I haven't heard it.
Oh,
So
It wasn't Gangnam Style.
But the point being that everybody wants that breakout thing, like that's going to bring you business. That'll bring you attention, but that doesn't necessarily bring you business, and it's not long term, because I don't know how many more dances you got in you, but just to pop real big that point, I think everybody wants to be well known for that, but it doesn't produce anything. It's not producing you revenue over the long term. That's where I think social media is getting this bad rap, because I think people will say, well, I'll talk to Jackie and see how we do that.
Right.
But your advice would be, don't do that.
Yeah, and then when we, strip it down, it's like, okay, it's really all of the other stuff. You need a base. You need a base, or else like you said, the social media supports it. One thing that I've come to find out with talking to companies, especially like ones that are in a more traditional, older industry, whether it's like manufacturing, building, or something like that, is social media may not get you clients, but it's good for recruiting. There's a lot of people in the, the trade, industry that they want to see that this electrician is doing some cool projects. What are they working on downtown, or the types of manufacturing going on, kind of those behind the scenes.
I feel like that's the same for remodelers too.
Yeah,
I don't want to see the picture, show me the before and after.
Right, but it's just, like if you're looking for your next workforce, that's coming up, or people that are going to be graduating, they are going to be looking on social media to see, okay, what kind of business is this, what culture do they have, what's the vibe they give? What's the brand? Is that a place that I want to work, that I want to invest my time?
Well, that's how HR people started weeding people out. If you remember, they were looking at your Facebook first.
Yes.
And then that was, we can't hire you because of what's on your Facebook.
Right.
Or you got fired for your Facebook post.
Right. I've been contacted before by people that were hiring and saw that I was mutual friends with someone who had applied. I was pretty blown away when that happened. That was a number of years ago.
It's the kid from the Borat movie. But
high five.
I got a rally from that. I was just thinking, but that's a perfect example of social media ruining somebody's life. Now, you probably shouldn't have a Confederate flag in the background of your profile picture, but if it can be a detriment. So if you make a mistake, if you say something, especially your political opinion, keep that to yourself. Especially if you're a small business, nobody cares.
Right.
And you're allowed to vote. If you're in Russia, you can vote as many times as you want.
And nothing's private.
No,
nothing's private.
But don't you think that's more exciting that people's business is no longer just some box? Like, it is really your personality. You can show as much of it as you want or as little. But if you don't put yourself out there, people don't start to buy into that brand.
Right. They won't. They won't know about you.
Well, I have a question. So there's some people that have the philosophy that just don't have Facebook, don't have social media, but that's almost kind of creepier. Like,
Oh yeah.
Well, LinkedIn,
you know what I mean? There's a
even
little bit more
LinkedIn gets
suspicious.
kind of
People that don't
Maybe
have a
creepy's not
LinkedIn
the
make
right
no
word,
sense
but-
to me. First of all, if it's free, like I did see something about that age app on your phone.
Oh yeah.
That's a Russian app, so you're basically scanning your own face in for
Oh,
Russia.
the old person thing?
Yeah,
Yes.
but that's an
My
example of
wife
something
just
bad.
Took a
I'm
picture
not
of it,
doing
yeah.
that.
Face
Yeah,
it.
well, I'm doing it with my phone while you're sitting here. But
Yeah.
what I was saying about that is these platforms that are free, if you're going to promote your business, you definitely should promote your business. But I don't think you need to put all of your personal business out there.
No.
But there were people that shut down their Facebook account. I can't remember what it was for, but it's like the invasion of privacy. Dummy, you already fed it all your information when you signed up.
Exactly, right.
Shutting it down doesn't prevent them from knowing anything else about you. You even put your phone number, what you're interested in.
Apple's got your thumbprint,
Yes.
your
Yeah.
fingerprint, your
There
face.
is no privacy
You've
anymore.
given them everything.
Yeah, but if you're not going to use those tools, I mean, they are free tools. You don't have to buy the sponsored ads and all that other stuff.
No.
But I'll never understand why somebody. This is not a knock on you.
Yeah.
It's your profession. That they will pay someone to run their Facebook and LinkedIn and all this other stuff. They'll pay them for search words and all that, instead of just working and creating content. Like you could sit in someone's office and create content.
Right.
That I would pay for. I would not pay somebody to just force feed ads on Facebook or Instagram that literally say sponsored at the top. I can
Yeah.
ignore it.
Right.
I just ignore it and go, okay, that's a featured ad, I'm moving on. But if there's a video that Ryan's doing, I'm going to hate watch that as long as I can.
Yeah.
Because that's my buddy and I want to
Yep.
see that he's doing well and I want to support him. People will pay more attention to that. But I also learn more about his business when he's doing that. Same thing that Rachel does that for our company, or we put all these shows on Facebook. We're literally just trying to educate people, and if they got questions they can ask, or if they have something horrible to say, by all means, leave a note. We'll read it. But that's examples of social media that don't cost money.
Right.
But that would
I have
be.
to say, I don't do a lot of paid ads on social media.
Do you get
for
asked to
clients.
do it though?
By some,
But
but
so-
and it's very minimal what we'll do.
right, but that's my point. Is why I like what you do is that it's a genuine thing that you're putting together. Like the things I saw you do with Pure Equity, these were real things that you were in the room. You weren't just taking some static image and putting wording on it.
Oh no,
You were actually there
I'm there.
and you were participating and you built this event. You're just highlighting that stuff. You're not making fake
No,
logoed things to just put it
No.
out there.
not using stock images.
I love the stock image. I saw the same image that was on somebody's medical website that was on a thing they gave us today for AM Spirit, and I'm like, is everybody just clicking and
I know.
pasting?
I can't stand when I see that. That's the graphic designer in me, though. But I know not everybody can afford their own professional
You can
photography.
take a picture of your own dome.
But-
You could just turn the phone on you.
Well, especially if you're using it for social media. You know, the cameras on the phones are awesome.
Right. If somebody out there is waiting to start a business, because I've had this conversation so many times with people, the whole reason of this show existing is to let people know we will help you promote whatever it is you've done, but that the trade-off is you got to tell us your backstory.
Right.
You got to tell us where you were, where you're at now, and where you want to go. But if somebody's waiting to start and waiting on permission, what do you say to that person?
I mean, my advice is, first of all, like, what are you really passionate about? And I know that's probably overused, but, you know, what gives you joy? What sparks joy? What gives you joy? Sorry.
That was a little too peppy for me. Don't ever spark joy in here again.
Marie Kondo. So
What gets you out of bed?
yeah, I mean, and what are you good at? So, I mean, marketing is such encompasses a lot of things, but you know, I know that I'm not good at websites, not good at Google, the Google AdWords, things like that. So I don't do it. That's not what I offer. That's not what I'm all about. This is what I am good at. And there are a lot of companies, people, entrepreneurs that contact me. So I know that there's a lot of room out there, especially in the Columbus market anyway, for people offering the same sort of services, whether it's, you know, a combination of design, social media, event planning, kind of relationship building. There's, you know, what are you good at? Where can you bring value? Because if you are a valuable resource to somebody, they're willing to.
They'll give you money.
They'll give you money.
Yeah.
They'll invest in you. So, because you know, and that's what I try to invest as much of myself in the businesses that I work with. and I guess people like that. I don't know, but it's. I'm not gonna say it's easy to do. It is a lot of work.
Well, it takes time to build
it.
it.
Takes
But
time
once
to
you-
build it, and because I strictly go word of mouth. I don't even have a website, which one of my friends who's a marketing director is really on me about having a website. So I probably will have a website, but it would just be a landing page.
But you'll have somebody else do it.
Yeah, I'll have someone else do it because that's not my thing. Just to again further support my brand and the the services I offer. But it's I'm willing to talk to anybody if they'd like to start a business similar to mine.
But they can't hire you, but you will talk to them, right?
I
Is it
will
fair
talk
to
to
say?
them. I will talk to them.
How could they get a hold of you? Because they can't go to your website. Should they go on Instagram?
They should go on Instagram. Queen Bee Jackie.
But spell it out.
QUEENBEEJACKIE.
Because I don't want them to think they're looking for Beyonce.
No.
I'm just saying. She is Queen Bey, apparently.
So yes, follow me on there. DM me.
I don't know how you want to say DM me. Just
Yeah.
send me a message.
Okay.
Slide into my DMs.
Been married for 20-some years, got a bunch of kids, DM me. In the last couple of minutes that we have, though, I'd like you to, if there's somebody out there that is interested in the educational part, what's the best thing to do? Is it going to these networking groups? Is it going to free seminars? What have you found the best use of your time?
The best use of my time, I'd say looking on Eventbrite, looking on Meetup, again, Columbus Young Professionals, just seeing what's out there as far as, whether you want to learn more about social media, about digital marketing, about the power of reviews. I mean, there are all kinds of lunch and learns and workshops out there. So if you do a search online, you should be able to find something in Columbus. As far as networking goes, maybe trying one of the AM Spirit BNI groups just to kind of get your feet wet, or at least go to the first few that are free before you have to pay a membership.
Actually, some of them are free. Like, you can keep showing them as a visitor until you think you've been there like 2 or 3 months. They're going to expect you to pay. But if you randomly pop in, they're okay with it.
Right. And even if you just meet a few people there and then connect with them outside of that and just, start your own
do what Jackie
thing.
did and pirate these people out and then just be friends with them and don't pay, right?
Exactly. And then start your own happy hour and connect people. But yeah, I would definitely look online for different things. Columbus Business First has breakfasts every month. Those are a great thing. For a while I was going to those almost every month. So
To steal more people.
just to meet people.
I'm not accusing you of anything. I'm just saying what you did.
Mm-hmm.
That's all right. Well, Jackie, thank you for being here.
No, thank
Rhino,
you
do
for
you have
having me.
anything? Book of the week? Anything to update us on?
No, just a reminder to focus on positive mindset, positive attitude.
Oh, I wish we could undo
like
this whole
that.
show just for that. You've been listening to 101, brought to you by Whiteside Chrysler Dodge Jeep. We will see you next week.
Stay classy.